Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Momentum Conversations. Today I'm with Stef Sifandos. And did I say that correctly?
Sifandos, yes.
Sifandos. First time I've had to pronounce your name. We just connected on a call the other day. I knew I had to bring him on the show and have a conversation. Just the stuff we dropped in with. We just really had an authentic conversation, which is exactly what Stef's about, connecting with your authentic self. A lot of stuff around sovereign or conscious leadership. And it's just an honor to have you here today. I was actually really looking forward to it today. Had some massive highs, some challenges today, all the different things that we go through. We're just talking about that before we jumped off. And it's always great to end the day with a beautiful conversation. But one of my big things I said this year I was going to do is engage in the conversations that matter. So it's a big priority for me to be on conversations like this. So I appreciate you coming on today. So where are you today? You're back in Perth?
Yes, I'm in Perth at the moment, and the honour is mine. Thank you, my friend, for having me on. Very much appreciated. And I was also quite excited about speaking with you and sharing some ideas for humanity, for the future, for where we are, where we're heading, where our potential lies. And yes, very exciting conversations and times ahead.
No, that's what I love, getting straight into it. So one of the things I like to ask people is this: what were you doing 10 years ago? I always love it because it's fascinating that we've all ended up in this completely different conversation, perhaps to what we're doing 10 years ago. It's not what I anticipated. Some part of me maybe knew, but I'm curious, what were you up to 10 years ago?
10 years ago? It's a really good question. 10 years ago, I was still very much connected to self like I feel I am now. Probably a lot more disorientated, disillusioned, a little bit disconnected from self. Was going through a confusing time in life, though, far more confusing than probably I ever really experienced. But those confusing, fear-based experiences have really shaped who I am today, and that is something that I'm, on a personal level, very, very humbled by, very proud of, because, as you said earlier, we go through extremely we challenges, difficult times, arduous times, but they form and they shape us just like the joyous times do in life as well. And 10 years ago, I was just really, I think we're always finding our way. It's just, are we finding our way with greater clarity, or are we stumbling and moving through life not really being connected to self? So 10 years ago, probably I was out of integrity, not congruent, transparent with self, not honest and truthful and authentic with self, and really learning about life the hard way.
Yeah. It's fascinating to contemplate. It's just fun. Just ask someone that on one of my other conversation. It just dropped us in a really cool space, which I liked. And I really dig it. So I've often themed things around momentum, and momentum is a word that's thrown around a lot. I've got a slightly different definition to probably what the normal one is, but I'm curious with you, when you contemplate momentum, because a lot of people, they want the momentum, and it's so many perspectives we can come from in every word. So I always like to jump in and see where you're going with. I'll share mine afterwards just for fun, but it's,
absolutely.
Everyone that I speak to has a different interpretation, which I find really fun. And the guys the people that I speak to on this show, they definitely have a different perspective to the normal personal development one I've seen thrown around. It's been fun.
Momentum it's interesting. Momentum is a byproduct of a model that I've developed called the sovereign leadership model. So I've given momentum a decent amount of thought. I feel I have. I'm very, very intrigued to hear your definition, but I'll go first, as per your request, my friend. So for me, it's an integrated, multi-layered definition. Firstly, momentum is clarity. Momentum is understanding and connection to self. So the only way that momentum can occur is when we are connected to self, when we are able to harness the fullness of self. And to really limit the definition, not to go into too many layers, the second component to momentum for me is a two-stream process. It's mental toughness and mental resilience. Toughness, the ability to move through despondency, challenge, and disconnect and difficulty, and mental resilience, the ability to recover from that challenge. And that allows momentum to continue to roll, allows momentum to be directed. Now, one more component, which I wasn't going to mention, but I think is necessary to mention, is that momentum can't be achieved without purpose. But that's intimately linked to clarity. So when we have clarity in self, connection to self, we're insinuating that we understand our purpose or purposes in life. So we have a distinct path to who we wish to be, to our ideal self. And for me, that's a integrated view of momentum.
I like it. It's fun. Like I said, everyone that comes through is different, and I appreciate yours. It's awesome. I just love just having that three perspectives to it. Just coming in from different ways. The resilience is brilliant too. And I think a lot of people, particularly now with social media, a lot of people see the happy show reel. And I endeavor to do more Facebook Lives, particularly when I'm feeling really off.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. Yeah, very much so. Yeah,
try and get on those days when I'm feeling off. One of the things I love about Christy, who you saw just before we jumped on, she's so real. Like, I'll do a Facebook Live and I see a lot of people jump on, and maybe they are just in a good mood, but they get on there like, and it's awesome. Like, I think maybe they're just genuinely happy. Who knows? But Christy, if she's there and I'm stoked and she's not, she's just in the background like, fuck it. And it's so refreshing to be with a partner who's like that, and to both choose for ourselves. And it's something we've both been playing with. So I want to get onto that next, but first I'll give you my little definition.
Please.
You ready for it?
Yeah. Yep.
Boom. All right. So this is the one I came up with. You know, dolphins.
Yeah.
Dolphins just always seem to know where to go. They're all heading up north. They know where to go. They just know who to speak to, as in they energetically communicate. They're always playful, but always, if there's work to be done, I've seen them not just playful, I've also seen them hunting down fish. I saw this fly fish coming through one day. I thought, that fly fish looks so happy, just like zing, zing through the ocean. But behind him was a dolphin. So they definitely still go for it. And they just have this communication, this energetic framework where it seems to have a lot of ease. They're doing different things. And when they're challenged, they get through it. So a lot of the things that you mentioned there too, in regards to resilience and moving through and being clear, and also that they work together. I can see
collaboration.
They just seem to collaborate so effectively and have. It's just something that's popped up for me a lot, and I've done it where I've run in projects of that similar energy before, where dolphins turned up out of season. We've done a project where we just knew to go down the beach.
That's epic.
It's just there. Like, we got to go down the beach. We got to go now. You know those things where you don't know why, you just know those things. Like having a chat the other day. Now we got you on here, and that's what I want to talk about more: choice, but also connecting to our knowing, or awareness, intuition, whichever way you want to go to it. But I want you to delve into that a bit with everyone so that we can get a deeper connection. Because you said get clear, connect to your authentic self, but just some tangible stuff. So people watching this right now go, cool. It's nice to hear it. It's nice to see it.
What does it mean?
But yeah, what does it mean? What does it mean for me? What are some tangible ways to bring that through?
Yeah, so tangible ways for me with respect to having a greater connection to self is knowing self with greater depth. But again, what does knowing self with greater depth mean? And it's really embracing the fullness of who we are. So it's understanding our models of reality, our thought paradigms. It's questioning our belief systems, questioning our feeling states, questioning the way we react or respond to certain situations in life, observing our relationships. Where is there value in our relationships? Understanding our values, what our highest hierarchy of values are, understanding our purpose, embracing our shadow self, the stuff about self that we don't really like or appreciate, that we pop in the unconscious knapsack that just gets heavier and heavier, that really actually governs our lives, but we make it unconscious, unknown. It's embracing all that stuff. That's how we get clear. It's being fucking truthful with self, not being in a job that we hate or dislike and saying, yeah, it's great, it's okay, it's good, and putting language around it that justifies us not taking action in moving away from an experience that we don't align with. I use the job as an example. You can use a relationship as an example, or the geographical area that you live in, and a multitude other examples. It's about satisfying the fullness of who we are. So making choices that, to put it mildly, are fucking hard.
Yeah,
that's what getting clarity is, and being deeply, truthfully, brutally honest with self. Because change, most of us, we don't like change. It threatens the ego, it threatens what's familiar, it threatens what's comfortable, therefore threatening what is safe. And when we are threatened, when our safety is threatened, our biological self-preservation mechanisms are ignited, and the body says, whoa, we don't like this change. Let's revert back to what we know, albeit not exactly the best for us. We know it's safe. We have to challenge that. Getting clarity, gaining clarity is challenging the norm, our norms first of all, and then collective norms following that.
I like it. It's good, man. So I find it too with regards to clarity. One of the things I've noticed, it seems one of the most powerful ways for people to have clarity is to give themselves a permission slip. It's often that thing. I heard this, actually Michelle, who's watering the garden right now, Christy's mum. She'll love this one too. She's been listening to this thing at the moment called Shadow Hunters. That's the thing, you know, a lot of people in spiritual community or personal development are all about the positive or white light or love and light, peace and harmony, where it seems that the opposite's actually occurring a lot of the time with a veneer on top. And it's an interesting one to contemplate. But that thing about giving yourself a permission slip, because say we're talking to someone right now, I don't know what your career was previously, but I've had times where I loved my career. And then I spent 12 months trying to get myself to that point where I'd actually leave. And in one particular instance, that the amount of money that I made in that year of not wanting to face my fear and leave, even though I knew to, trying to play it safe until I just took the full swing and went for it. Actually, I went backwards about that year's worth of income by trying to stay there for a year. Wow. And so I know for myself, you see those metaphors people talk about, the fighter pilots and things, that the ones that came back are the ones that didn't play safe. They always just followed their awareness or their knowing, and they went for it. But I want to speak to people to make it relatable right today. So say, I know you work with a lot of clients around the world and you're doing some brilliant stuff. And for people that might be right now in their business or their chosen career, and it sucks. And they've got, let's just paint a real picture. They've got the mortgage with the wife, they've got 3 kids, maybe the 2.2 kids, the picket fence, whatever it happens to be, the tangible bills to pay, everything like that. But some part of them knows that they have to leave. And I'm fascinated about this. I used to be a professional entertainer, and to the point where I was outside a party, doing a kid's party. I was Batman, one of my favorite superhero characters. And the parents, the dad or the mum would walk out after the party and start asking me questions. Start asking, you seem to have a different level of freedom or authenticity in your life. What is it about you? And then start asking me questions. I'm running around with the kids in a Batman suit. You know, part of me probably judging myself a little bit initially that I was doing it, but loved it. Going up, had a 6-figure career, had blah, 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 blah. And now I'm running around chasing kids at a party and happy. And it's just an interesting one to contemplate these things, because there's different personality types, there's different models of reality, there's so many different things. But just to speak to someone right now, because there's going to be someone watching this right now. It's like, there's people that it's nice for you guys. But this, because it's not just nice. We're talking about it before. It's definitely challenging. Going for your authentic self. But then you have these moments where it's just bliss. Just so much. And even in the challenging times, it's just a different frame. It just feels so much more aligned. So much more joyful, even through the tough bits. It's just perception. So let's speak to them. Say you're talking to someone right now. Secure job, but they freaking hate it. And they're going, it's okay. It's okay. I'll just keep going a little bit longer. Got to pay the bills. When this happens, I should do this. Blah, blah, blah. What are we going to say to them?
There's 2 approaches. We can take a very masculine approach that is very calculated and very, very framework based, or we can take a more feminine approach, which masculine and feminine are simply expressions of the human being. We take a more feminine approach, which is more intuitive and more fluid. But what needs to be understood is just one question to answer your question. I'll ask a question: is how do you? It's an old paradox, and it's an old proverb, and it's how do you eat an elephant? And you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
I love that.
Some personality types are really, and personality is malleable. It's not rigid and fixed.
Yeah.
And neurobiology and science demonstrates this, but psychology, modern psychology also does as well. But beyond that, some people mass drastic change very quickly. Fantastic. Go for it. Some people, most people, that's far too much. Like complete immersion is too much for most people.
Yeah.
So we make small, subtle changes.
Mm.
And if you're someone that really likes to plan because you find security in planning and knowing what's happening next, then you set yourself. You find yourself someone that can be of service, or a number of people that can be of service, whether it be a life coach or whether it be a mindset coach or a counselor or a good friend or a family member, mum, dad, brother, sister, whatever. Someone that you trust, revere, and respect that can assist you in your journey, because we're social beings and that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
We assist in the journey. We're neurologically hardwired to be of service to each other. In fact, we get the most from life when we are. And you begin to put a small plan in place. It doesn't have to be epic. We don't have to, because small steps lead to a profounder understanding of self. So we want to occupy our lives with as much what is working in our lives as possible, as much joy and bliss and value-aligned activity as possible. So we've got to get clear. We've got to get clear on what we value most.
Yeah.
And when we do that, so for example, say you love dancing. You are an avid dancer. You just love it. But you despise your job so much, which takes up 8 to 10 hours of your day minimum, 5-6 days a week. Because that's where collectively Western culture is going. Unfortunately, it's not deterring too much from that space.
Yeah.
What can you do to have experiences in your life or reprioritize value sets where you can find joy and you can find refuge and you can find clarity? Then you do that. Even if it's just once a fortnight or once a month, it's something, because something is better than nothing. And the more we fill our minds and our personal lives with experiences that matter to us, the more of a balance occurs. When we come from that balance, when we create that balance for ourselves, we then see and observe and feel life differently. Our perspective changes, and it's in that transformative perspective that we are better equipped to do more with life. We are better equipped to problem solve and be creative, because we're coming from a space of openness as opposed to a space of closeness. So your posture of closeness is restrictive, constrictive, fear-laden, it's ego-based, it's autocratic, whereas a posture of openness is the antithesis of that. It's courageous, it's open-minded, it's free thinking, it's free feeling, it's joyous, it's expansive. Now, when we fill our minds up or our lives up with experiences that matter to us, we slowly forget the negative impact that those experiences that we don't quite enjoy are having on us. Now, that doesn't mean that we negate them, we forget about them, but we view them differently as well. We begin to view the value in them, and observe the value. Hey, the way I feel about this now actually isn't as bad. Yes, it's not where I want to be long term, but I have deeper reverence for where I'm at, and I'm actually I'm able to connect the dots because I've got this new perspective, because I'm choosing to live life fuller, as opposed to, well, this part of my life sucks, everything may as well suck. We don't have to have that attitude. We can change that mindset. We can transmute that mindset by simply choosing to fill our lives up with as much joy as possible. And to figure that out, just be honest with yourself. What do you enjoy to do? Could be walking through the park. Could be spending time with your family. It could be a number of different outlets. Do more of that as a starting point. Don't even bother thinking about 1 year, 2 years, 6 months down the track. It's pointless if you can't make the first step.
I love it. So good too. As you talked about that too, it reminded me of something which I talk to people about, having micro commitments. So say you're in a full-time job, you know these little things. 15 minutes 3 times a week is going to get the ball rolling. Because I know if I start something, if I do it for 15 minutes, if I start writing for 15 minutes, I'm going to go for 30 minutes, 60 minutes. I'm going to go for 2 hours. I know for myself, micro commitments I made a while ago was to spend, let's call it 55 minutes, just because, you know, my program's M55, but it's normally 60 minutes a day in nature.
Yep.
And yeah, just those little things, like little micro commitments that make a huge difference, because I've found the more that we do those, makes a difference. Even if you're in an office right now, you might walk out during your break and put your feet on the ground, get some sunlight, take a walk.
Absolutely. It's possible. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, that's being absolute in language, but most people have the opportunity to have 30 to 60 minutes a day on their lunch break. How they manage that, that's their business. They can bring their lunch from home, or they can fast during the day, which is a very healthy practice. That's something we can speak to in a podcast. But you can make the time to ground yourself. It's funny you just spoke about micro-commitments. I actually shot a video on that the other day, just a short daily wisdom video that I do.
Oh,
and
nice.
it's such an empowering, and that, for me, that's synergistic, but it's such an empowering practice, micro-commitments. People, we don't realize the potency of that practice. I'm so glad you mentioned it.
I love it. Something I'm noticing as well is the precision you have with language.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Which I love. It's something I'm always working on as well, often using words rather than using forgot. I'll say, just remembered that I didn't remember something. And I've been playing with that for years, being even more precise and particular with my language, and even contemplating things at the moment rather than talking about money. I even started talking about currency. Just little things, even energy, or just playing with things a little bit and molding that, because I know that language definitely affects our frame of the world. And I even
we're so dominated by it, aren't we?
Yeah, totally. Just bing, 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 symbols everywhere, advertising everywhere. Boom. Buy my stuff. Feel anxious. Feel depressed. Fill your cup. And the crazy thing is this is what I'm always looking at too, just get into the real stuff, is that we can also be guilty of that in the coaching industry. I've seen it. I've seen people definitely. I saw one guy years ago trying to do it to me at a particular event, and he now actually does a completely different thing. And he used to promote a well-known speaker. Actually, it was a guy named DiMartini was who he used to promote. And this guy used to do stuff.
I know who you're talking about. And he's a South African gentleman, isn't he?
So it's a funny thing, because basically with these things is people say stuff to go and get you to buy something. Once you have enough awareness, you realize that someone's playing you. When I watch the television now, I realize someone's playing me. But the funny thing is this, we're seeing all these crazy things going on in the world right now, and we could do our bit. But I still find it for myself, contemplating big issues right now. I saw 9/11 straight away. I realized it was nonsense, but it still happens. And most people believe it. And I wonder, like, how long can this show go on?
Yeah, we don't question. See, one of the epidemics of our Western cultural dynamic, my friend, is that I feel, and I'm not the only one that feels this, and I'm of course standing on the shoulders of giants when I express this philosophy on life, is that we don't, and that's a big part of my own framework, is that we don't query enough. We don't ask quality questions of self. And you mentioned DiMartini. DiMartini's a big advocate of that.
Questions, yeah.
The quality of the questions we ask ourselves in life lead to the quality of the outcomes that we experience. I'm paraphrasing that, but that's the essence of it. And it's so important to grasp that, like fully grasp that when we ask questions on so many different levels, our psychology, our emotionality, our neurobiology, is neurons are firing, seeking an answer. That in and of itself is so valuable for our own multi-layered development.
Absolutely.
We take so many things for gospel these days. And it's just, if we ask questions more often, our lives would just transmute in the most profound manner, in the most amazing way, just from asking quality questions of why are we doing what we are doing? Why are we being the way we are being?
What's your top 5 questions? We've got 2 right there, but you can add 5 to the mix. Top 5 questions. Just for fun. I like to get people to freestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. One would definitely be about relationships. So am I showing up in the most authentic way possible in my relationships? Because relationships are so important. Am I being, let me go back. I'll go forward. Am I being of service in my relationship to self? And am I being of service in my relationship to others?
I like that.
What does my ideal life look like? For me, that's a very simple question. No restrictions, no parameters, no limitations, expansive thinking, right? What does my life look like? My ideal life look like? Can you imagine if all of us answered that and then actually moved towards taking action in that area?
Oh, man.
That'd be cool,
I can feel it. Yeah, for sure. Spacious.
Another question I would ask, and this is more of an integrated, collective question, is why are we so scared as a species? I'd ask that question. And I do ask that question often. I would want people to ask those questions, especially around fear.
I like
what's stopping us from being courageous? What does courage look like for us?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm one of those people. If you say give me your top 3, I'll give you 5. If you say give me your top 5, I'll give you 10.
That's
give me
good.
your top 10. I'm shocking like that. I'm sorry.
We'll do it. Let's do it quickly now. Let's do a question battle. You ready?
Yeah, okay.
Boom.
First
time on the podcast. I do this every now and then with friends on the phone, because the thing is, any of us as entrepreneurs, as game changers, the people that came here to do cool stuff on the planet, we can have moments where it feels like, and sometimes what I like to do is these 5-minute power calls with friends. We'll have to do some. You get on the phone, go boom, 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 and you ask these powerful questions. Or you say, can I have your attention, please? Just for 5 minutes, can I have your attention, please? Because so many times people are like on their phone, thinking about something else, 20 tabs open in their mind. And one of the things I look at in terms of the whole game is, how do we just be present? And not just one-dimensionally, because it's so easy to be, eyeballs gazing intensely at another and only one fixed point of presence. But we are aware beings, so it's how to be in that space where we're multidimensionally aware. Anyway, time for a question. And you can answer this one before you say the next one. You ready?
Yes.
When was the last time you experienced heaven on earth?
Last night, swimming in the ocean.
Nice. What if it was at the same time? Just all this synergies.
Yeah, it would have been around between 4:30 and 6 p.m. my time, Perth time here.
Yep. It's when I was in too, brother.
Yeah, nice.
And there was something about it yesterday. This is what I always contemplate with all the synchronicities and serendipities and the order that comes through in the chaos. Because Christy's stepdad hadn't been in the water for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday we went down to the water. It was somewhere getting close to 6:30, about 4:30 your time. And there was just space. I did a forward flip, and, Christy's stepdad, Gary, he's about 58 years young. He's like a big kid, but he's got a little bit of a paunch right now, and I'm going to help him with some nutrition and fitness. And I love him. He helps me with business, and we have some real conversations. And he did a forward flip too. Just goes, dunk.
What a legend.
I know, what a legend. Then he swam out with me, and we just sat down. And for me, it was just, when you start to see more color, it's almost as
vivid.
if just vivid, and consciousness expands, or whatever my perception, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like,
so cool.
And I asked another friend that recently. I do this idea called the Flow Quest show, and I asked another friend that recently, when was the last time he experienced heaven on earth? He talked about his friend. And he goes, funny that you mentioned this particular friend, because guess what? It's his birthday today, and I haven't called him. It's like his best friend who lives in Dubai right now. Ask him that question. It's fascinating too, the awareness that allows us to ask that question, and then asking more questions creates more awareness, which then asks the other questions. And
all about awareness, man. Conscious awareness of self. Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive, right? So the thing I look at too, in language, how we're talking about the precision of language, asking questions actually spelt as king.
Love it.
It's kind of fun, right? So as king, what's the next question you'd like to ask me? Let's have a quick battle. That one was a little bit drawn out.
No, that's good. That's good.
Raise the question.
It's coming. What are you most fearful of in life?
Do you want me to answer?
I'd love you to.
I love to. Biggest one for me is being seen in all my expression.
Or not being seen in all your expression.
And being seen in all my expression, and not being seen in all my expression.
That's interesting.
One of the biggest things I can do for my business, I've done it a number of times where it's very easy for me to get PR. I'm a bit of a Jedi at it. And I've got different people that are sharing with me that the next evolution for my business is to go be in the media, be on television, blah, blah, blah. I literally got onto a reality show out of 15,000 contestants years ago, and it got cancelled.
Oh, what was the show, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, for sure. It's called Man Up. And I was teaching men's workshops at the time, and anyway, it got postponed and it got cancelled, and it all worked out perfectly in the flow, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's something in my expression that's limiting that, just being really frank on it. And it's something that's it's coming to my attention at the moment. I'm actually doing an application for Survivor. So there's,
Oh, cool.
and we'll see if the dates work, but the length of Survivor is 55 days.
Yes.
Which my program goes for 55 days. I literally pulled up out front of this house that's a competition house yesterday. And we get there and on the odometer says 1055. I was talking to my friend about it. We're just driven all the way up and back. I'm fascinated by the hypersynchronicity of it all.
That's really cool, man.
So it's not just being seen in my full expression. It's probably being seen. Because being seen in my full expression, when I just contemplate that and just go, cool, what is I'm happy for people to see about me? And what is it that I'm hiding right now? And I've let go of so much stuff, but I mean, always wanting to go deeper.
Oh, of course. I believe it's the only way. And there are pockets and moments in our lives where we just refrain from going deeper to give ourselves some reprieve. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But to always go deep or to consistently it's a lifelong journey. It's depth is beauty. I mean, it's wonder. It's part of life's purpose to go deep, to connect and understand self. It's how we do that, by going deep.
Yeah.
By confronting.
Confronted. And then just getting out there, like having people call us out on stuff, all that thing. I'm inviting all that lately. Like it's so nice. So nice to have people around you go, wow, you're amazing. Yay. It's good, but it's also nice to have the ones that not coming from a place of negativity, just coming from constructive feedback. I'm just inviting that more and more. I've got great men's circles now I'm involved in, and obviously coaches and mentors and so forth that I work with. But it's a good one. So that thing in terms of like the current expression, the fear that's literally popping up. So that's one that I'm looking straight onto. And also the biggest thing that's been challenging me in a business, I like the instant manifestation. I like getting the vision and the downloads and dreaming stuff before I take action. But I often will implement with a team, which I'll still do. But there's something about me right now that has a resistance to implementation. And I've just been contemplating that recently. Go, what's that all about?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Just to get jiggy with and get real with yourself.
Continue to observe, definitely.
What's another one too? If you were living your dream, who would be on your team?
If I was living my dream, who would be on my team? Well, my friend, I believe I am living my dream. And the people that are in my life now are in my life because I've very carefully articulated it that way. There are definitely people I'd like to meet. I have a vision board, and on my vision board I have a round table of wisdom of past and current great minds and great hearts and expansive souls, and I'd love to meet some of those people, absolutely. But who's on my team right now is, I'm very careful with who I bring on my team, because I believe our environment is conducive to our growth as a factor in our reality that's conducive to our growth. So part of that are people. So who are the people in our lives? So, I think to answer that is I'm in my dream. Let's put it this way, which was the question I was going to ask you next.
Cool.
If I just gave you $100 million, tax-free or yours, call it $1 billion, call it $100 billion, whatever, call it $10 million, whatever number shall suffice for you in your mind. It's not necessarily based on any deep parameters. But we'll just say, we'll call it $1 billion. That should suffice for the time being. And I said, you've now got $1 billion. It's tax-free. It's obligation-free. You do what you like with it. What would you do with your life? It's a very similar question to what you just asked me. I feel it is anyway. That's why I've interpreted it. And I wouldn't really do anything different. I would just evolve my practices because I have access to greater resources, for example. A broader, deeper impact quicker. But in terms of the essence of what I'm doing, that wouldn't change. It's just, the team, that would be the same, but just I'd add to it because I've got access to be able to do so. I feel very blessed to be in that position, but what we spoke to earlier, it didn't come without a lot of challenge, mate, like deep challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had to go through the rigmarole to get to where I am today because of that. And I suffered immensely for various reasons, some a little bit outside of my control, some self-inflicted, all understood and connected to. But I feel where society is today, as a collective, our conscious evolution as a collective. We need to experience pain and suffering. Everyone's different to the degree they experience it, but to actually gain breakthrough, it's not the only way, but it's actually really valuable for where we are at as a conscious community.
Yeah.
That will evolve. I believe that will change and that will transmute and transform. And we won't need to experience such deep pain. But at the moment, to go through and actually say, fuck, I've got to stop this behavior, I've got to go elsewhere, we actually need a bit of a reality check. And unfortunately or fortunately, it comes with a bit of pain. Pain's not bad or good. It is what it is. It's a great teacher, as is many other experiences in life.
Have you had it yet? I know I was maybe dropped on this the other day, but I know it's a lot of people that are going for world transformation, consciousness, a shift, whatever phrases or words we're using. But a lot of friends I know have either experienced something like a huge accident or burnout or all of the above. I'm just wondering what was one of those points for you? Because I know there's often multiple points of expansion, but what's the first one that you want to touch on now?
Well, the major point of expansion for me came through an unraveling of myself, an unraveling of how I was behaving and who I was. And it was not conducive to my authentic self, so to speak. So I was being very dishonest in my relationships. I wasn't showing up authentically. I wasn't presenting the fullness of me. I was really providing a fragmented, broken version of me in my intimate relationships. I was being deceitful. I was hiding from myself and therefore hiding from others and taking action that was causing a lot of pain to other people. And that came unraveled. And as that came unraveled, I was in a transition point of about a week, 2 weeks, where I had an opportunity to make a choice about, I can suppress this, I can numb it down and just push through the pain, just keep working, just keep moving, and as life would be, and not really grasp the grand teaching that was here, or make some choices and get really brutally fucking honest with myself and with others. And I made the latter. And the latter was a deep dive into self. I spent months on my own, engaged in what I would call personal praxis, a combination of meditation, a combination of seeing healers, guiders, spiritual counselors, deep meditation, lots of opening myself up to reading material, lots of journaling, varied spiritual practices as well, very specific breath work that included as well very specific intent-laden movement as well to release neurologically and psycho-emotionally for myself. So I would spend anywhere from 6 to 10 hours a day. I gave a lot of everything up. Went into hibernation for a number of long months.
When was this?
It was only 2015.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty much all of 2015.
Because often we don't talk about this. I haven't publicly talked about it much, to be honest. I went up to Cairns after burning out, and I'd spent 8 to 12 hours a day in nature. I'd get around people, and I had so much awareness. I could just know exactly what people think in their thoughts, everything. I can tune in now, but I can actually be with it. I don't have to put up the walls anymore. But I'd have to spend 8 to 12 hours a day in nature. Sometimes I thought I was going insane. And just crazy thoughts and dreams and all kinds of stuff. And those different points of expansion, it's happened over different years and different things. But a lot of the things that I would express, that's where I'm looking at how to be seen now, because from a young age, a lot of the things that I would express would be, can't say that. People would watch me say, I'm going to go meet Will Smith. And then I'd walk out and I'd go and meet Will Smith, only for about, hey, Will, what's up? Like a 10-second conversation. But I actually did it. And I didn't. They'd be like, but you didn't. I'm like, but you just watched me, but you didn't. And it's this thing where there's this overlay in the universe of consciousness where we can be in the magic and possibility so often. And then sometimes we need to prove it. And it's an interesting one to go through that veil of possibilities and then try and, I guess, like the hero's journey with Joseph Campbell, like bring the magical back to the ordinary world. It's an experience I go through from time to time when people ask me, well, how'd you do it? Then I go, things shut down a little bit. So I'm fascinated. 2015. So you gave yourself permission to actually take some time to be still, take some time to go deep. I love it.
spent a great deal of resources, multiple resources in different areas of my life. It was the best thing I ever did. It came with a lot of pain and heartache, not only for myself, but for some people in my life as well. But unfortunately, well, it's not about fortunate or unfortunate. I just couldn't have it any other way because it really allowed me to then step into the fullness of who I am, which is it's an ongoing journey, Brock. It's not. Yeah. It's not. There's no. You know, in the coaching that I do with my clients as well, I'm very, very specific. This is not a curative praxis. This is not a, one size fits all. You come to me and I'll cure you. Yeah. It's an ongoing journey. I don't want you to be with me in a one-on-one capacity for longer than 18 to 24 months. After that, irrespective of where you're at, you need to move. You just need to expand your journey. And that's what it was. And many beautiful teachers came into my life. I spent a great deal of time with them, and now I've moved on, and I'm with new teachers. Just because we do a lot of coaching, I'm sure you have mentors as well. We spoke about this the other day, actually. I have mentors now that I have teachers now that I look to because we don't know everything, and it's not about knowing everything, but it's that evolving journey. It's that evolving journey of self, like really deeply connecting to every facet of self possible. That includes that dark shit, the healthy dark and the unhealthy dark that we don't really value, understand, or appreciate. And when we do that, it changes our lives, man. And I speak from personal experience, but I also speak from working with so many different people.
Makes the biggest difference too. I know for myself, I was getting to that point in life where I had an experience of the infinite. I went to this men's workshop. It was about 300 men. Kind of reminded me of that movie. It was awesome. I'd love to create something like this. It's just an interesting one to have that thought right now, that feeling. And I went along. There was about 300 Christian men at this particular event. Beautiful men. My dad had invited me. I said I didn't want to go, but in the end, I actually went along with a friend of mine. And at the time, I was eating the vegan diet. So I had a whole 2 boxes of organic produce. I rolled on in. Awesome. Which is cool. We did the prayers, we did the blessings, we did all the different things. But the most profound time for me was when I heard spirit or God or consciousness say, I love you, Brock.
Oh, man.
You're enough.
That's cool, bro.
And then I saw my dad and he puts his hand on me like this. I'm going to send the replay to my dad so he can watch us having this conversation because Dad, I love you, man. And that connection we had was so profound for me and just opened up so much more space. And to have people around that actually are willing to acknowledge you, then give real-time feedback has been magnificent.
That's beautiful, man. That's goosebumps shit. That's just awesome because that's you realizing just for that split moment in time. You realizing, well, every moment in time is a split moment in time, but you realizing the fullness of yourself, you appreciating yourself and realizing how wonderful you just are as you are. That's so good.
It was an epic day, but let's go to the next point. We've got to keep going with the questions. Battle, time. Talk to me about time. How have you been contemplating the relationship and dynamic of time? Let's go on to that one.
I'm going to be straight up honest with you. It's a cosmological conundrum for me. Okay. Yep. I believe in part that there is some level of objectivity to it, but I also believe that it is very much a human constructed concept. And I believe that the Western world view time it's a useful tool. It's definitely a useful tool. But we view time in a distorted manner where it governs our lives too much. It governs our lives in such a way that actually at times is so rigid that it limits us. And I don't know how to go too much more deeper into it because it's something that I am very much exploring now and have been for years. And look, I think that so many great minds are doing the same thing. From particle physicists to psychologists to philosophers to other cosmologists or whoever it may be, quantum physicists are doing their best to understand what is this time, what is the notion of time, how does it impact and affect us. It's a powerful question you're asking, man, and I'm very comfortable to say, fuck knows. Yeah.
It's a fascinating one to contemplate because I've been there with, the guys that have written the books, the spiritual mentors, and they sit there and time is an illusion and everything's an illusion. And I get at some level, perhaps it is.
Mm.
But I remember there with one guy, I was reading his book, and then I was reading his book in this place in Thailand. I went, this guy's book's cool. I wonder if he lives in this town. And the next guy that walks into the cafe turns out to be the guy. And I just look at him. I start making fun of him. For whatever reason, I just look at him and I started having this fun conversation with him. It was a bit of fun. And then it turned out he was the author of the book. So he sat down with us for a bit. And he went into that posture. And you know when someone's written a book, they start to frame themselves as the author of the book and the different things. And I always like to ask people lots of questions, not just be cheeky, but also be curious. And maybe I was being silly, but I picked up a mug. I went, cool, if everything's an illusion, if I throw this mug through you right now, if I throw this mug to you, will it go through you? And I stopped. I just wanted to sit in the awkwardness to see what would happen. I was just curious. It was a cool question because I'm there with the coffee mug. I didn't actually throw it. But then Christy, unfortunately in that instance, Christy, my fiance, broke up the conversation. And we didn't get to find out if what would happen. But I know in my own experience that there's been instances where I've had to get to the airport. If you've been to Sydney, there's a town called Bondi. And normally to get to the airport takes, maybe, 15, 20 minutes without traffic, probably 20 minutes. I was there in peak hour, looked at my clock and realized I had to get the rental car back and get on a plane within about 20 minutes.
Oh.
So I literally had 15 minutes to get there, drop the rental car, get to the place. And it's peak hour. I get on the highway and it's back to back.
Yeah.
And I go, what would it take for us to get there by a particular time? Boom. I did that. And I got the goosebumps, things changed, put my accelerator down, and we got there early. And I don't know how to make sense of that. And I've had a few instances of that where it seems to be that at some level, consciousness or reality is a little bit bendable. But I also like the element of harmony, because we spend too much time trying to change it. We seem to create these glitches at some further point. So I'm always wondering, at a level of consciousness or base resonance, let's go to this one. What are the daily practices we can do to make sure we stay supercharged?
For me, my friend, and you've touched on this point multiple times throughout this conversation, is being with nature, connecting fully with nature as often as possible. It is one of our most natural states to be connected to Earth. That I don't even want to really go beyond that.
Done.
As a starting point. Like just to simplify, just to keep it really simple. And yeah, just want to stay there.
Because
it's just so tough.
That feeling we had of heaven on earth last night, that's the feeling of how I get life can be experienced.
Yeah.
And that's what I just did, that adventure around the world. We called it the greatest love story ever told. I'm actually wearing the t-shirt right now of one of my friends that gave it to me, and it's just fun, thinking about these experiences and contemplating, connecting to the dream time and going into how our Indigenous elders, how they led, and looking at it and going, well, we are the guys that came here to do some big stuff on the planet. It's important that we acknowledge one another in that.
Oh yeah. And
see that and go, well, what do we want now? It's an interesting one as we contemplate. That's one thing that I really want to engage on too. I know we've got a few minutes left, but I wanted to go into that in terms of your models and conscious leadership and different things. That fascinates me too, because I can see it and conceptualize different things, but actually tangibly mapping it out and saying that's something you've done. I think it's honorable to go through the process, and I'm sure you'll tweak it as you go along and different things.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's just so fun, because once we have a framework, then we can contemplate it from a combined perspective, which is great. Then we can collaborate
yeah, definitely. So I have 4 key frameworks that I utilize. There's the 9 area of life model, which is simply 9 areas of life and learning how to attain mastery and homeostasis in those areas and interconnected balance. Then there's 3 key models. One is the conscious communication model, the empowered conscious communication model. That carries with it 12 principles or tenets that contribute to being a conscious communicator, and then what it actually means to be a conscious communicator. And then there's the authentic self model and the sovereign leadership model. And they're 2 separate models, but they also integrate. And each model of those has 14 principles or key tenets that add to being an authentic leader of self, or an authentic, or maintaining an authentic posturing, and what that means. and then the sovereign leader to be a sovereign leader. What does it mean to be a sovereign leader? Why is it of value to you and to others?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the principles behind those statements or those posturings that really lay the foundation for choosing to move through life in that way. Because I'm a big believer in, if we can't govern ourselves, if we can't connect to ourselves, we're going to really struggle to lead our families, communities, states, cities, countries, earth, human family. So and many great masters say, I wanted to change the world, and I just figured that it's a lot easier to just transform myself and adjust myself. And not easier, it's more enlightening, and it's a deeper connected practice. And it's like, fuck yes, it is.
Yeah. I love it. Makes sense. Something I talk about too is starting your day powerfully. Look like I got a bit of a halo now. I'm going off the computer light now.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, very clearly. Yeah.
Awesome. So that thing, I got a principle called starting your day powerfully.
Yeah.
Just getting up and being intentional or mindful or aware as we start our day. I used to have specific morning rituals. Now it tends to change and be quite malleable.
It's very similar to me, my friend. Yeah.
But I like the theme. So just to contemplate that one, if you were to start your day powerfully, what would that be like for you? 60 seconds on that.
Yeah, done. Breath work and deeper introspective practice or praxis, and some reading and movement. Yeah. So movement could be some training, hard training, or yoga. I prefer yoga in the morning. So that movement, irrespective of how long, 20 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, up to you. Very specific breath work for oxygenating the body, but also connecting to the fullness of breath in a more spiritually dynamic manner. And an introspective practice, and we can call that meditation. And what that looks like for the individual varies. And immersion in nature. So those are the things that I would do. Yeah,
I like it.
A powerful practice. And it will be either all of those things or a combination of those.
I like that too.
And that intention,
What were you saying? What was the final one?
You said earlier, which is that is carried and encompassed by a tremendous intention. Yeah.
I like it. It's just a fun theme because this morning I woke up early. I've got that theme, that story that runs through, and I'll literally get a text from one of my new friends in the Sunshine Coast. I've only been here a few weeks, and people reach out and they're like, we're just vibing with each other. You know, when you just meet someone, you just love them. They're just good people. And then you talk to them and they already know some of your friends around the world. I was talking to my friend today. He knows a guy, Tyler, over in Bali, who you probably know. And
Tyler Tolman. Yeah, I'm speaking about him. Yeah.
And it's just fun. You just talk. I said another one of my friends' name in California. He's one of the best surfers in the world, biggest wave surfer. He's like, yeah, I know him. And just fun. These people that just show up. I'm always fascinated by that, how they show up. But we got up this morning, 5 a.m., looked at the sunrise, went for a surf, had some really beautiful conversations, just got real with each other, shared some highlights, shared some stuff. And yeah, it was cool. And it just makes the world a difference, just having that space in my day, 100%.
Yeah, that personal practice in the morning is so empowering to begin the morning in silence, to begin the morning with self, to begin the morning contemplating self and one's own reality. It sets the foundation for being creative in the day. It sets the foundation for the quality of our engaged relationships in that day. For me anyway, I'm a big believer in that. And there's also, the science that backs that up. And as part of that is being very grateful, is engaging in a sincere, intentful process of gratitude as well. Part of that morning ritual, if you like. And you can oscillate between all of those practices, all of them or some of them.
I love the gratitude too, but even expressing appreciation and gratitude. I know days where I've done that, I'll literally get to the airport and I'll see someone that just happens to be beeping my bags through. If I'm in a shitty mood, I'll roll through and everyone's an idiot. Everyone's just stupid security guards. We don't need this. I'm a sovereign being. Why don't you fuck off? All that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm in the woo way, chilled, good vibes, baby. I'm cruising through. I'm like, my man, you scanned my bag like the best ever. I love it. Appreciate you, man. You got my back. And it just can be a completely different experience when it's almost like gliding through life.
Agreed, brother. I really agree with that, and I'm very conscious of that myself, or guilty of that, for lack of a better term. Where we place ourselves in this. Well, it's an arrogance. It's almost an arrogance. It's like exactly, virtually verbatim what you've just said there. And the reality is, it's part of the world that we live in, and our perspective determines the quality of our internalized well-being as well. So, how do we choose to view that scenario? And it's beautiful, because the more we speak about this now, when we're in that equilibrated state, the more likely we are to actually act in that way when under that pressure or stress. That's the beauty of this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's why I love adventures, because you put yourself under stress.
Oh yeah.
Today in surf, I got drilled. My friend was even making fun of me because I'm quite a novice and he's a bit of a pro.
Yeah.
I'm in the surf this morning. One of the waves just went from here to here. And he just said, my face was like this. He's laughing at me. He comes back. He's like, your face was like this. Which is super cool. We're basically out of time now. So I want to drop in with one final question. You ready?
No problem. Yeah.
You got to speak, like similar to your question, you've been given $100 billion, but for you get the opportunity to speak to everyone on the planet for 60 seconds. It's pretty fucking important job to have for 60 seconds. So often when we pretend things, they tend to come true more. I feel like we got a magic wand. When we pretend that the infinite and magic is available to us, I never stop pretending, and it seems to show up more and more.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Be it till you see it, all the different ones. And all those things in terms of that, just going, cool, I got a magic wand, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, for you, you've got the 60 seconds just to have a conversation. Share the things you'd love to share with humanity. Take a moment if you like. Just at the end of this conversation, 60 seconds, because, people's lives, always in having these conversations. For you guys that made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you watching this. I got so much gratitude for you guys always, taking time to listen to our perspectives, help us get a bit more insightful and clear on what we're experiencing, share some of the gifts that we have with you guys. And I appreciate you doing that. And the cool thing is this, I have that perspective that if one person watches this, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And even if we just had this conversation, it makes a difference.
It's already made a difference in my life.
I love it, right? Yeah, totally. Yeah. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you too, brother. I really appreciate the time that you've taken to even just ask me to come on your show and have a chat. Informally, formally, that's just just grateful.
I love it. So you got 60 seconds. You ready?
Yep.
Tell me when. Go. Flip.
So what I would say to humanity is believe in yourself. Believe in the potential of not only you, but every single person in your life. Believe in the goodness, in the wonder, in the worthiness, in the value of yourself. Because when we have that self-value, that self-worth, our life changes in the way we move through the world, in the way we behave with ourselves, in our self-talk, in the way we then communicate with others. When we believe deeply in our worth and our value, we set up around us these amazing boundaries, but not boundaries out of fear, boundaries out of self-respect and reverence, which in turn teaches others to do the same. I would tell people, please be inclusive in your language, in your posturing, in your behavior. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't have a prima facie association with everything that you observe in your life, but rather embrace the depth of what exists. Say that's about a minute.
I love it, man. We'll call it 55 seconds because it's my magic number. Boom.
There it is.
Appreciate
Bang.
it. Bang. So
thank you, Rob.
If guys would like to find you, ladies and gentlemen, want to find you online, what's the best way? Groups, websites?
Absolutely. Yeah. Best way is probably through Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or my website, which is all the same, which is www.stefsifandos.com. So STEFSIFANDOS. And it's the same on Instagram, same on Facebook, same on YouTube.
Yeah, perfect. I'll put the details below if you want to flick that to me afterwards. It's a pleasure, man. So one of the things I like to do, we did on the phone the other day, get your hands out, my man.
Yeah.
We're going to bless each other. We're going to bless everyone watching this call, and we're going to bless all humanity. So we have that feeling like we already have $100 billion and we can do whatever the fuck we want because we can. It's the truth of who we are. We might forget that from time to time or remember it later, to use better language. But that whole thing of knowing that I used to like that. One thing I liked from going to church was like, he's got the whole world in his hands. This is a cool little track they used to play, right? So that thing, if we always start blessing ourselves, bless everyone in our community, and then bless humanity. And the science that gentlemen like Joe Dispenza are doing on this now shows tangible evidence that this makes a difference. And while I'm with you, because I appreciate you, we're just going to bless my little new Bubba, due on the 5th of the 5th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bless our weeks, bless our clients, bless everything. And just, again, bless everyone that made it to the end of this, because you had to invest over an hour of your time when so many people short attention span. You guys did it. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Steph. And
thank you.
I'll see you soon.
Thanks, brother. I'll speak to you soon.
Appreciate it, man.
Take